Zangief's Stained Fierce Crush counter from afar is now plus 29, up from plus 28. It doesn't sound like much, but now he's plus 4 after a forward dash, so he can dash in and get a crouching jab. Before he just got a poke, now he gets higher damage, a knockdown, and Oki. Charge Stained Fierce has more juggle potential. This gives Zangief a combo after Lariat VT1, where Gief previously had no ender. Before, Lariat to VT1 would fall out at certain heights, so they made it juggle more reliably. This sequence is VT1 Gief's highest damage anti-air by a comfortable margin, so it's quite a useful buff. Unfortunately, if you're already in VT1, it can still be very picky. Crouch Fierce is now a launch, and Crouch Roundhouse was given juggle potential so that you can go into it. Crouch Fierce is a surprisingly workable anti-air, and this gives Zangief a nice little anti-air combo. The hitbox was nerfed a bit to make it weaker against cross-ups, but Zangief can still snipe cross-ups with Stand Jab or Lariat. It's both strong and fun to have multiple different anti-air options, with different levels of utility and reward. Crouch Fierce is now -6 on block down from -4, and it has less pushback on block. It's more rewarding to land, so they made it more risky too. Just so everyone knows, anti-air Crouch Fierce does launch the opponent higher, but Zangief has surprisingly few juggle routes. Besides sweep, the only route I can find is VT2 EX air grab, which is actually extremely useful. Zangief gets an enormous anti-air conversion in VT2 now. Towards Fierce now forces crouch on hit. It sounds like a strange change, but characters are wider when they're crouching. Conversions from headbutt work from farther out. Also, he can now VT cancel it. I thought this already worked, to be honest. Air SPD is now a hit and not a throw. This means you can juggle into it. There's a few juggles where Zangief now gets Air SPD for free when previously he had to use EX. You still can't juggle it after VT1. I feel like it's worth mentioning that Air SPD is -2 after forward dash. While EX Air SPD is +2. You might still want to spend the bar just for the Oki. Flying Headbutt and Trigger 2 Air EX SPD have more juggle potential. You can now combo both after a close range Lariat activate. This is pretty hard to get mid-screen, but it's very nice in the corner. One last change with VT2 air throw. For the meterless version, they decreased the recovery, so Zangief is now +2 on forward dash, enough for Zangief to push a mix-up. VT2 EX air grab is still -4 on forward dash, but it's comparatively easier to land, so it makes sense it wouldn't be so rewarding. This patch was phenomenal for Zangief, but it gets better. One of the sweeping changes of the patch was to make good pokes more whiff punishable, when Zangief was notoriously outzoned by single pokes in lots of matchups. Nerfs to things like Chun-Li Stand Fierce and Dalsum Stand Forward are going to make Zangief much more viable in those matchups. Zangief had been hit hard by nerfs, new bad matchups, and the introduction of V-Shift, and it seems devs saw and wanted to bring him up to the rest of the cast. I really like Zangief's VT2 changes, and I hope people play with it a bit since I think it can really do some work now.